Hello there, welcome to my channel, Action Bastard Academy. This prestigious institution is going to be primarily dedicated towards talking about whatever it is I like at the time. I like anime, I like video games, I like music, I like manga, I like movies. So, I've been working myself up to do this for quite some time. It's taken a while to work myself up to it. I got caught up in the little details along the way, like, what streaming camera am I gonna get? What video editing software do I need? How am I gonna learn all this? How am I gonna schedule my time to get out content and stuff? But I realized, oh, and also a script. But then I stopped, took a step back, and realized that's not my style. If I see something, I like it. If I'm passionate about it, I'll talk about it on the spot. I don't need much. So I was like, okay, I just need a camera. I have a trusty iPad right there. It ain't much, but it gets the job done. And I need content. And, you know, I obviously want to talk about something I care about, something that could be of value to, the listener or viewers or whatever, right? So I came across a spark in the most unlikely in the most unlikely place. All right, so this is related to what I want to talk about. I was on Reddit one night. I think it was about like 3 a.m. I just finished binging A Kame Got Kill on Netflix, and I felt whelmed, not overwhelmed, not underwhelmed, just kind of whelmed at it. It's not a bad show by any means. Heard the manga ended better, but not bad. So I was just scrolling through Reddit and I saw a picture of a what looked like a family, but it was odd to me because I noticed that there was a wolf and there was a rabbit and they were in a bed surrounded by little baby wolf rabbit things, and I was curious and I was like, what is this? So someone posted, it didn't have any like comments or anything. It had a bunch of likes, no comments. So I just asked, wait, what is this? And then they replied back, oh, this is Beastars. I was like, what's Beastars? And he's like, oh, it's awesome. It's a show on Netflix. I was like, really? So I already had Netflix open. Opened it up and I was like, oh, it's about animals. It's a show about animals, right? And he was like, yeah. So it's like, okay, I'm not getting much from the synopsis here. So I asked him, hey, what's it about? He was like, oh, wow, dude, you've never seen it? There's so much to talk about. Like, I don't want to spoil anything. So I was like, that's not giving me much to work with. So I was like, well, is it good? Do you recommend it? He's like, oh, yeah, highly recommend it. It's just that good. Yeah, I was like, okay, you're not giving me much to work with. So I was like, okay, how about this? How about you? I'm bored, right? I'm looking for something else to get into. If you can't like articulate what makes Beastars good, how about you just show me something? You know? He was like, okay. Oh, what would you like? I was like, give me something that moves me, you know? What makes this worth putting my time into? I don't go out of my way to do this for like any mediums. Normally I'll just research it, and come to my own conclusion if this is something I want to put my time into watching or reading or whatever. And he was like, huh, okay, give me a sec. So he came back and he had a link in it. It was to an image. It was an image of a picture, right? And I see that he sent me. I think it was from a manga. Yeah, it was from a manga chapter, and it was just Legosi and his boys, and it was a manga panel, and I remember it vividly. It was specifically Beastars chapter 123. He sent me, and it was of Legoshi. I think it was at the end of the chapter of Legoshi and his friends, and he was just asking, do you think we could still hang out even when we're like adults or something like that, right? And then I believe one of his friends, I believe it was a golden retriever. His name was Jack or something like that. Was like, what are you talking about? Of course we can be friends, and stuff like that. Just kind of like reassuring Legosi. So I was like, I was like, is this a manga? He was like, yeah. I was like, yeah, it's a manga, and it's still ongoing. I was like, who's the artist? He was like, oh, it's Paru Itagaki, and I was like, that sounds familiar, right? I come to find out later that, oh wait, that's the person who makes Grappler Baki, I love me some Baki, has a daughter, and she's making a manga of her own. So I was like, oh, that's interesting. So I was like, hey, can you link me the full chapter? And I was like, he was like, sure. He was like, it doesn't, this one doesn't really have any spoilers or anything in it. So I was like, that's fine. So I read through the chapter. Chapter 123 is technically where I started. And I was reading through it. Pretty much the whole chapter is just Legoshi chilling with the boys. Apparently, they haven't seen each other in a while. And they just decide to take a day out to just chill out at, what was it called? Beastars? No, Beast Strike. Apparently, that's a place where the animals go just to like unwind and, let their unwind and just let their instincts that they have run rampant. I thought it was a pretty cool scene. It's just them chilling, playing ball. When they put the ball back in the machine after like, I guess it plays fetch with them after they go and catch it. Like, hurry, put the ball back in the machine. And I'm like, okay, they're actually dogs. They're animals. So I didn't think about the time, but I was I didn't subconsciously. I didn't make any comparisons to Zootopia. I didn't even think about Zootopia until later, right? And I'm glad I didn't because I got a fresh perspective of the series. So I was continuing on, and then I was like, okay, this is a slice of life chapter that I'm on, right? I still have no idea what the series is about, but I was like, okay, this is a slice of life chapter. So as they continued, they were in the hot tub, and Lugosi, I believe that's his name, the main character, Lugosi, right? So he's just thinking, he's in his head, right? And he's like, ah, mm, he's thinking about, how good of a time he's having with his friends, how they haven't seen each other. These are, I believe it was room 701, is that they were all in. Apparently, the impression that I got is that these guys have known each other for quite some time. They're canines, they're chilling, they're hanging out. They have a very close bond, a bond that you can only get in school because I do know the main setting happens inside of a school, right? So, with that leads into the next not the next chapter, the next page where they're on the steps, and Lugosi asks about if they can still can they still hang out even after they've grown and stuff, even after they're adults, because I'm guessing that they're teenagers right now. They haven't seen each other in a while. And I don't know what it is about that scene, but it was melancholy. It was sad, but then it was like upbeat at the end. And it's something that had an impact on me unexpectedly just because of how real it felt, right? You know, we've all had that experience of growing up, and this chapter just kind of gave me insight into that feeling that's been lost. Because we've been to high school, we've made friends, we've lost friends, and I don't know. That just invoked a response for me that I didn't expect to see here from talking animals. So you know, I felt something from that. So I got back to the dude on Reddit. Oh wait, before I get to that, it ended on a high note with I guess it was a monkey or something like that. He dropped an orange. He dropped an orange, and then the dogs are like, "Hey, we'll get that for you," and they just book it down the steps. And I thought it was the funniest thing. Like they're canines, so that's like kind of like the gag. They'll chase the ball. They want to be. That's what I got from the entire chapter. They want to please. They aim to please. You throw something, they will willingly want to go fetch it. It's part of their instincts. And I felt like that choice of chapter was was selected very carefully and wisely. It was like it was selected for me almost. Um, I felt like that kind of reflects the show, like in a sense, like you have not people cosplaying as animals. You have animals being animals in an animalistic society, a society based around animals, not people cosplaying animals. So I thought that was interesting, just from the little bit of building that I got from that, just from the Beast Strike setting that they were in. It's kind of like a place where they could just go unwind, and cut loose with all their instincts. So the cats, they had little scratching posts, because cats like to get their claws and stuff and like tear it up and rip it up and stretch their claws and scratch. Raccoons are notoriously clean, shockingly. Little trash pandas, they have a spot where they just want to go wash their hands. And I even saw a scene where a kangaroo, grown adult, was just has a bag over his hand. His coworkers are looking like, oh, he's wearing that bag again. Maybe he misses the pouch. So at Beast Strike, you see kangaroos just chilling in their little what's that thing called? Satchel, something like that. It's something like that. It's like a little pouch that they're in. I forgot what it's called. It'll come back to me later. But I thought that was really cool. So chapter 123 is technically the first chapter that I've read, right? So I was like, wow, okay, and it's a manga. Okay, that's interesting. So before I get into it, before I watch any anime, I always judge it by their manga, right? I'm not their manga. I'm sorry. Their intro, right? So I was like, okay, like I'm interested in it. I'm definitely interested. So I'm gonna watch. Went to YouTube and I was like, okay, I'm gonna watch the intro, the Beastars intro to Netflix. So I had it on Netflix. I didn't want to just start the show because I saw the manga. I have a reference now of what the style what the style is gonna look like. So I started, and I was actually blown away by the intro. It was called Wild Side, right? And it was done in stop motion, which I thought was really cool and artistic. And from what I got from looking at the small scenes on Netflix, that the show was done in CGI, and I was like, oh, I'm turned off again. Not CGI, but then I looked into it and I was like, it was done by Studio Orange, and they're one of the best when it comes to dealing with like CGI. I forgot which show it was. I saw it like a while back, but it was pretty well done in CGI. Stuff like a show like Berserk completely turned me off to completely turned me off to CGI. But with this, from what I saw, like from the manga pen, I was like, okay, so they translated like that. I was like, it's controversial, um, but I felt like that was part of the point, though. Even though it was CGI, just from the small stuff I saw, I didn't start any episodes. I was like, it doesn't look bad, actually. It looks quite good. And I felt like, just from the intro of the show, there's a lot more than meets the eye to this manga series, and the show. And I felt like it shouldn't just be judged off of its cover. So I was like, I think I found my spark. It's interesting enough to where it draws my attention. I'm notoriously selective with anything that I consume. But once I'm into something, I am into it and I want to talk about it. So I decided I'm going to take a chance. I'm going to take a chance. I'm just going to start. I have a tendency where I focus on, the dirty details of how I'm going to do this and follow this to the T, but I have a perfectionist nature. But I recognize if I focus on that and let that consume me, I'm never going to get anything done. So sometimes finished, it's just better than perfect. And sometimes all you need to do to start is, well, all you need to do to get it done is just to start and hope for the best. My style is scuffed. I don't have much. But what I do have, I will work with it, because at the end of the day, the content is the king. And I took a chance. And you get that feeling where you just know something is going to be good. That's my feeling, and I'm feeling good. So I went out of my way, not really, to look online and see what was available. And I bought 6 volumes of Beastars. I have from Barnes and Noble. Here we go. all 6 volumes of Beastars. It finally came. I'm excited to talk about it. I'm excited to jump into it. This is a first for me. Normally, I would read most my manga and stuff online, like from the Viz website, like Viz Media and stuff like that. Um, but this is a rare exception. I felt so strongly, well, still do. I feel so strongly about this manga that I'm just going to jump into it. I decided to support the author, right? Because it's not often that I encounter media that moves me in a way. And I felt just from that small section, that small chapter, closed off chapter compared to everything else that's going on, that small slice of life segment spoke to me in a way that, made me feel in a way that I haven't for quite some time. And that's where I felt like this is not going to be an ordinary series. This is something I feel is going to be special, and I haven't even read it yet. So I looked to see what was available in English, and I was like, oh, we're only up to 6 volumes. Well, I guess it's going to be a gift to myself then. So I just went ahead and bought the first 6 volumes. I'm excited to jump into it. Beastars Volume 1. I'm going to be talking about it chapter by chapter. Yeah, I'm just going to talk until there's nothing left to talk about. If you like the content, feel free to stay. I'd love to have a discussion about it with anyone who wants to. And yeah, I'm excited to get started. I feel like this is going to be a winner. This is going to be something special. I've gone out of my way to avoid anything related to spoilers. Well, to be fair, I don't really care about spoilers. I'm the type that's completely unfazed by spoilers. But I did go out of my way to check to see how big like this is on YouTube. There's a couple channels. It's definitely niche, and that's something I appreciate. But I feel like, I don't know, I haven't gotten into it yet. But, I didn't watch any type of videos related to this content because I didn't want someone else's opinion to influence my own opinion, I want to go into it with fresh eyes and a fresh perspective, you know? So that's how I'm going to treat this. So, it's going to be an interesting journey, and I'm excited to get started. So, thanks for listening. I'll be reviewing Beastars Chapter 1 pretty soon. Look forward to the upload, and I'll see you then.